wanted to talk about something today that is interesting to me, and that is this idea of why we are in the most technologically advanced period of time ever. We have more technology and more insight, wisdom, education than we've ever had before, and yet people are fatter, sicker, and full of so many illnesses and diseases that there's more and more illnesses and diseases being named all the time. We have so many illnesses and diseases that have come from that you can track back to around the time of industrialization and what happened to our bodies when we started consuming foods that were made in factories and more processed foods. It's just a really curious time to think about this. It's like we have so many resources, so much education, so much science, and yet people are getting cancer like it's going out of fashion, multiple sclerosis, um, kidney disease, all sorts of liver problems. Um, there's just such an epidemic of illness in the world, and it's fascinating to me why. And we now can see that we can't just blame it on environmental toxins. It's not just the glyphosates in our soil. It's not just the pesticides that are sprayed on our foods, the toxins that are in our water, in our air. It's not just that. They're hugely important and they do make a massive difference. And we do need to detox those from our system. But there is also this other side of what humanity has become that is incredibly influential on illness and disease. All illness and disease has an emotional genesis. That is the truth. Our genes account for 5% of the physical wellness that we have. That means that our genes are kind of irrelevant. Where the most impact is found is in our lifestyle and our environment. And that includes how we think, how we feel, how we process emotions, how we're taught conflict resolution, what kind of environment we grew up in, how much our nervous system is in fight or flight, calm. There are so many things and reasons why we are ill. And one of the things that I see in my practice, because I work with people who are trying to regenerate their bodies, and I cannot work with anyone unless they're prepared to do the emotional, metaphysical, spiritual, psychological work as well, because it is not just a physical state illness. It's also many, many layers of emotional, mental, spiritual, psychological that add to, the reason why we aren't well. If you're not prepared to look at that side of things, you will get well to a point, but it will probably return because we need to. I'm going to go into root cause stuff because I think that's an overused term now, but we need to understand why we have attracted illness into our life, into our body, into our experience. And I include soul contracts in the work I do because on another layer, I mean, we are not just these physical beings. We are souls having a physical experience, it's not a new concept. But we have this, there's a part of us that, I mean, this is my perspective of many, many decades of study in many different areas that are relevant to this. We It seems that we come into this world with soul contracts, lessons that we need to learn, that we are in relationship with certain people, things, ideas, beliefs that create our experience here. And we need to learn lessons that allow us to move through this experience to the other side. And a lot of people, this is not going to be a popular view, but a lot of people come in with soul contracts and they don't necessarily have long lives. They're here for reasons, seasons, but they are not necessarily here to live out their life till they're 100. They're here for certain experiences and lessons. And of course, it's very sad when someone dies young, early, in a horrific way. Of course it is. But we humans don't know everything. We don't know much about the meaning of life, why we're here. We can make up a lot of thoughts about this, and this might be one that you think is made up, what I'm talking about. But there's this belief that our experience on this earth is to be here for soul lessons. And some of those soul lessons are learned through terrible experiences and also through illness and disease. And so we never know how long we have, of course. But one thing we can do is to attend to our physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, psycho-spiritual, metaphysical health, meaning you've got to look at everything, where you live, who you spend time with, the job you do, the beliefs you have, the food you eat, how you spend what goes on in your brain, like what are you thinking about? What are you reading? What are you watching? Everything, your childhood, your relationships with your siblings now and then, your relationships with your parents now and then. Like everything has relevance to our health. And so I guess my message today is don't just pop the Nurofen, don't just take the peptides, and don't just, you know, eat your paleo or your keto or do whatever that is. Look deeper. Go into your relationships, um, your thoughts, your what do you expect for your life? Like what sort of things do you expect that are going to be the kind of life that you're going to lead? Who do you spend time with? Look at that. Look at what you read, what you watch. How is that influencing your mood and your belief about yourself and your belief about the world? Because everything matters. Everything matters. And when I work with people, we go all in, all levels, so that when you come out the other side, you're a different person. Which I think that's what, a health journey is that you transform yourself on many, many layers. So it's just my musings for today.